Hello, today we're going to be talking about ratio tables. Utilizing the information that we already know about unit rates, about ratios, about proportions, we're now going to apply that to using a model or table. These notes are going to go on page 71 and 72 of your interactive notebook. Please add your topic and essential question. Your topic is ratio tables. Your essential question that you should be able to answer by the end of this lesson is how can I determine equivalent ratios with a model or table? This is standard 6, ratios and proportions 3, and you should be able to make tables of equivalent. Class, what does equivalent mean? Equal or the same. Ratios and plot the ordered pairs. What do we plot the ordered pairs on? What do we call that graph? Anyone? Go ahead, Kaylani.
I think it's called a line.
Not a line because it's two of those put together. Kiki?
It's called a coordinate grid.
Coordinate grid, correct. Coordinate grid. Or coordinate plane, sometimes we call it that as well. Alright, so let's look at our first example, shall we? I'm going to expand this a little bit so that we can see. I always like to go through and mark the text when I look at any kind of story problem. And in this case, I'm going to circle the numbers and underline the words. Mrs. Berry needs 2 eggs for 10 pancakes. Let's make a table to show this ratio. Okay, when we get this information, in order to make a table, the first thing we're going to do is fill in the table with the information that we know. With the ratios we know. And in this case, we know that we have 2 eggs for 10 pancakes. So if you notice in the table that's to the right, we've already put that information in. We've created a table. We have the eggs to the pancakes. We know that we have 2 eggs and we have 10 pancakes. And then I just filled in the rest of the information for 1 to 5 eggs. And we're going to determine what that is. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to find the unit rate. And we're going to find the unit rate of how many pancakes we can make with 1 egg. So, how many can we make with 1 egg? So to do that, I'm going to actually go underneath here. And I'm going to say, okay, if we know that we have 2 eggs, actually, and I'm going to flip that, and I'm going to put the eggs below. If we have 2 eggs, it makes 10 pancakes. We want to know what 1 egg would be. So what do I do to the 2 to get to the 1 egg? Hayden?
Divide it by 2.
Correct. So divide 2 by 2 to get the 1 egg. And whatever you do to the denominator, you got to do to the numerator, right? So what is 10 divided by 2? 5. So now we know that for 1 egg, we have 5 pancakes. That's the unit rate. So let's put that up in our table. So now we're going to use the pattern to complete the table. Okay, so meaning 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. What is 3 times 5?
15.
Class, what is 4 times 5?
20.
What's 5 times 5?
25.
So we just used the same pattern and we completed the table. So now that we've completed the table and we have all of our information, now we're going to take it to the next step and we're going to plot those numbers onto a coordinate grid. So then to do that, we are first going to create our coordinate grid. I'm going to do it over here. Remember, a coordinate grid is an x-axis and a y-axis. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to determine an x and a y. And I use my unit as my x, and then that would determine it. So looking up at my table, my unit here is how many eggs affects the pancakes. So my eggs is going to be my x, and my pancakes is going to be my y. So this is my x eggs, and this is my y pancakes. So now that I've determined my x and my y, and I've labeled them, now I'm going to number my axes. Now, look at your table here. Notice this one goes by 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that would be easy to number 1 to 5. But this one, see it counts by 5s? So let's number our graph by 5s. So on this one, we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one, I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now we're going to plot our ordered pairs. And you might be saying, well, where do I get my ordered pairs? Well, remember, ordered pairs go x and then y. We'll go up here, and we have an x and we have a y. So our ordered pairs would be this number and then this number. So the first one would be 1, 5. The second one would be 2, 10. What would the third one be? Anyone? Angel?
The third one would be 315.
315. Good. Class, what's the fourth one?
20.
And the fifth?
25.
Good. Okay, so now we're going to plot them on our graph. Remember, you go over and then up. So I'm going to go over to 1, up to 5. Over to 2, up to 10. Over to 3, up to 15. Over to 4, up to 20. Over to 5, up to 25. And I plotted them all. Over and then up. Over then up. Now, some things you need to know. The x value, our egg value, is the independent value. It doesn't get changed. We just make it what it's going to be. So it is the independent value. Now, the amount of pancakes that we make is determined based upon what we do to the eggs. So it is the dependent value. Your x is your independent, your y is your dependent. The x is the unit rate, it's the unit. The y is what happens when we change the unit. And you also will know your values are proportional if you get a line. Let's see if we get a line. If we take our numbers and we go straight through them, do we end up with a line?
Yes.
We get a nice diagonal line, so yes, they are proportional. And that's what you do. So once again, going back, you create your table, you look at the ratio that's given to you, you put it into the table. Once you have your table labeled, then you find the unit rate, you put that into your table. Then you are going to then complete, using the pattern of your unit rate, you complete the table, determine which is your x and your y, graph it onto the ordered pair or into ordered pairs on the coordinate grid, and there you go. So now you have a practice problem on page 71. Let's read it. For every 2 jumping jacks, I burn 3 calories. How many calories will I burn if I do 20 jumping jacks? Fill in the table, answer the questions below, and graph it. So let's circle our numbers, underline our words. 2 jumping jacks, you burn 3 calories. If I 20 jumping jacks, what will I do? That is your question. How many calories will I burn if I do 20 jumping jacks? So you're going to create the table. Start off by putting in the ratio that you know. For every 2, you get 3 calories. Okay? And now you're going to keep completing the table. In this case, if you have 2 jumping jacks equals 3 calories. Actually, I want to do that with the unit on the bottom. 2 jumping jacks equals 3 calories. What would 1 jumping jack equal? Can anyone tell me what 1 jumping jack would be? Abby?
1 jumping jack, 2 jumping jacks, 1 jumping jack equals 2 calories.
Not 2 calories. Good guess, but no. Yes, Riley?
1 jumping jack would equal 1.5.
How did you get that?
You would divide the calories by 2 because you're also dividing jumping jacks.
So we know that we divide 2 jumping jacks by 2 to get to 1 jumping jack, and whatever you do down here, you have to do to the top. So you divide 3 calories by 2, and you get 1.5. With that being the case, you would do 4 times 1.5, and you would fill in the table. I want you to also notice over here, with the constant rate of change on the next one, constant rate of change is just unit rate. So you're going to get it to the 1 unit rate as well, and you need to decide what is the independent variable. I want you guys to finish this on your own, and have a nice day.